Hello and welcome to the Mixtape podcast, where every week I take a deep dive into my guests' musical influences and inspirations by asking them to make up an imaginary mixtape. They'll have 6 track choices and they'll have to pick from categories including their favourite cover version, a song they wish they could play to their 18-year-old selves, a song for a romantic interest, and a song they sing in the car or the shower. If you're enjoying these episodes, then please feel free to go to the top of the page, rate the podcast 5 stars, or give us a follow on social media at the Mixtape Podcast and Radio Show. And you can discover over 100 archive episodes just by visiting themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello and welcome to today's mixtape. And today on the show it is an absolute pleasure to welcome Sarah Blasko. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. I really appreciate you making the time and coming on the show. So we're going to talk about your double feature tour, September and October. For Perth people, the significant date is September the 19th. That's at the Astor Theatre in Perth. sarahblasko.com for tickets and info. So the double feature sort of references the fact that you're playing your first 2 albums more like back to back, like in their entirety. One of the first questions I wanted to ask you is, are there any songs on those albums that like you've never played live before that you've had to learn for this tour?
I think we've played all of them, but quite a number of them I probably have not played since the time that the albums were released for one reason or another. I don't really know why. I guess you end up playing a lot of the singles and things like that over time once they're not sort of new records anymore. But yeah, there's quite a lot to half of the band, they're brand new. They have never played them before. But for me, quite a few I haven't played for a very long time. So it's a lot of work. When I came up with the idea, I was like, oh, yeah, sure. That's only, 90 minutes worth of music. And then I've since realised it's quite an undertaking.
Going to have a little break in between. There's going to be an interval between albums.
There's an interval, yes. It's very civilised.
Set dynamic, is it different in terms of how the songs flow, how you would normally play them in a live show? And I know I'm not a musician, but I know that musicians, particularly vocalists, to warm up with a sort of a ease into the set with a cruisy one. Are you getting that out of this set?
I love playing the record from start to finish because, I think that with each album I usually do start with an ease-in kind of track or an introductory track or something that kind of welcomes you to the world of the album. So it feels really nice to play them in order, and because they're things that you labor over when you're making a record and you put them together for a reason and something that feels really good at the time. Yeah, so I feel that, both records do have a track like that at the start. And so, it feels pretty good, from a singing point of view.
And at the same time, you're taking the opportunity to reissue both records on lovely coloured vinyl. I saw some lovely bundles on your website as well, if anyone wants to grab those. Are you much of a vinyl collector yourself, Sarah?
I am. Yeah, we've got heaps of vinyl here. I grew up listening to records when I was a kid. That was... I loved just like sitting at my dad's record player, and because it's such a large format, you're looking at these huge sort of liner notes and the lyrics, and I've got quite a few of my dad's old records that I listened to when I was a kid. And then my partner Dave is a huge vinyl collector. Actually, he's from Perth, but he's very much into electronic music, and so he's done a lot of DJing and things like that in the past. So he's made my vinyl collection a lot cooler.
Vinyl's cool on its own. Just the fact that it's vinyl makes it cool.
There, And then, the cooler and larger.
Yeah, no, for sure. My son, it's actually his birthday today. He's 13 today. And I asked him a couple of months ago what he wanted for his birthday. And he said he wanted to start collecting vinyl. So I bought him a turntable and all his birthday money. We're going to Midland Records at the weekend and grabbing some records. But I was
proud.
I'm really proud. But at the same time, I'm a little bit wary because I've already laid it out to him. It's like, my records are off limits to you, mate. Don't even think about it. They're staying in there. I don't want to see them disappearing off into your bedroom. That's not happening. That's not going to happen.
I thought you were
But
going to say that you were worried that he was peaking too early. Sometimes my partner Dave and I say that if there's something cool that your child is doing, you worry that they're too cool
lose
to
interest.
and then they'll end up, not that there's anything wrong with it, but they might end up being
Yeah.
like an accountant or
Yeah. Hopefully not. Hopefully I can
politician.
guide him in the right direction. And I was 9 when I got my first record player.
Oh,
So
yeah.
and it stayed with me. So hopefully it will stick
Yeah.
with him as well. Yeah, for sure. And how's this for his first ever concert?
Yeah.
I'm taking him to see AC/DC.
Oh, that's very impressive. My son's first show was King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard at
Nice.
NYC. I'm wearing the
Yeah.
jumper right now.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And I think that blew his little mind. It also may have blown his eardrums because it was much louder than I thought it would be, but we quickly got some earplugs. But I'm on your wavelength there in terms of parenting. I'm impressed by
King Gizzard are like the vinyl collector's nightmare. As they not only they put a record out about every 6 weeks, but then they put it out on 10 different vinyl variants. Blood, splatter, do you know what I mean? And man, couldn't
Are you
even
keeping
begin.
up? Are you a King Gizzard fan? Are you doing
Not really, no. The blues psych rock thing is not really my sort of thing. I don't mind them. I can listen to them, but I wouldn't spend $60, $70 on one of their records. You know what I mean?
Maybe you might want to edit that bit of this interview out. You might cause a
I'll never get them on the show now. Never mind, damn it.
They got a lot of fans out there. You might.
I know they have.
You're going to have to contend with.
The one good thing that I said to my ex-wife when my son said he wanted to get into vinyl was, I was like, at least he's not going to have any money for drugs when he's older because he'll be spending all his money on records. So that's the upside of it. In terms of playing in Perth, Sarah, have you played the Astor Theatre before, or is it first time?
I have. Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah. So I love Perth. I've always loved visiting Perth, and I'm not just saying that either. I'm very earnest. I'm very sincere in that comment.
I missed you last year, and I really wanted to come and see you because I'm a big fan of Angie Coleman.
Oh yeah.
And she's lovely, amazing singer, and I really like her. And I've interviewed her 2 or 3 times. And when I saw she was supporting, I was like, "Oh, that'd be so good." Blah, blah, blah. I think I was either working away or I might have been in Darwin or something, and I missed it. And I was Devo, but this time I'll be there for sure.
Great.
For sure.
I'll hold you to that.
Absolutely.
I'll dedicate a song.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
I probably won't remember this, but I'm just trying to make it feel really worthwhile.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Just in terms of your songwriting, Sarah, like obviously 21 years since the first album came out, how do you feel, first of all, like with your songwriting and your creative process? Do you have a set way? Do you go lyrics first and then put the melody to it, or vice versa? Or is it more organic than that? And secondly, how do you feel like over the time since that first record came out, you've developed or changed as a songwriter?
Yes, I usually always start with the melody and the music and the chords. But every time I do that, I've been doing that for 20 years. And I think, oh my God, please just write the lyrics first next time. I pretty much always, because they're trying to get the lyric. I think that I just really love focusing on the melody, I suppose, as a singer. That's just what flows first. But I do often think, oh my God, to start with some lyrics would just be delightful because it's like sometimes you feel that you're trying to fit these lyrics into to the melody. So each record I say, next time I'm going to do that. So maybe next time I will do that. Yeah. But I think over time I've just become, I think just in my general approach to music, I've become more relaxed with how I do, or more free flowing. I think when I just want to enjoy the process of music and of playing with other people, and it's all about no stress. And I think early on I pushed myself in some kind of unnecessary ways, and maybe you push yourself in that way when you're inexperienced or you don't really understand the process or whatever. But I think at this point in my life, it's just about enjoying the process, having fun with the process. Maybe that's where it all just goes. It nosedives if you're having too much fun. We joke about that sometimes in my band. Not too much, to not have too much fun. But I see the value in just letting go in music and the production of music and the making of music and the performing live. So I try to just, not have this sort of intense pressure that I think that I used to. But I know, I think with each record, I'm just in my own way. I'm just always trying to do some little thing that I haven't done before, or each record is often like a reaction to what you did last time. It's like, want to dig some new ground or cover some new ground. But yeah, I'm about to go into a phase of writing again, because I put out a new record last year, and then now I'm revisiting these old records, which is already stirring up something within me, I think. And for me, I always just take a really long break in between writing. I'm not somebody who just writes all the time, for better or worse. I just write as I write a collection of songs, and then I go and live, and things just seep in over that time. And then, so it's interesting, these records and playing them again have definitely stirred up something quite intense, to be honest. And so I'm hoping that will then in turn assist in some way, or uncover something that will then help me to write my next record, because that's what I'll be doing after I do these shows. Yeah. But I'm very much looking forward to getting into that sort of hibernation phase. I really enjoy the hibernation writing every day. I think as an introvert and somebody who, I do really love getting into that kind of phase. But then it's great to you go from that to the social phase where you're playing all of your shows and meeting people and traveling and doing interviews.
Always so fascinated to talk to people about their creative process, because everybody does it so differently, and it's always a really good insight. Okay, before we drop into the mixtape track, Sarah, I've got quick fire 5 questions for you. Okay, so first one, what is the weirdest thing in your tour rider?
One time, sometimes I ask for chopped up vegetables and things like that, which isn't weird in itself, but every now and then, for some reason, people will just put it's chopped up carrot, cucumber, things like that, like crudités, I think is the official term. And every now and then you'll just get like a whole cucumber or something like that. And I've got a very funny photo that one of my bandmates took, where there was just like a whole cucumber just still in that plastic situation. Yeah. And then just a label on the cucumber that just says Sarah Blasko. It's just, so I don't know if I've got anything weird as such, but just every now and then the kind of the interpretation of what we've asked for is quite strange.
No, that's pretty weird. That fits the bill, yeah, for sure. Do you have a pre-show ritual?
I always say to everybody that it's like, I'm very difficult to talk to before a show, and I always say that I turn into a pumpkin before the gig, and I just have to go into this sort of meditative kind of state where I'm not really able to talk to anybody. But it's usually like doing your makeup and listening to, often like doing your makeup and stuff like feels quite meditative before a show. Yeah. So it's usually just like doing your makeup, being quiet for a period of time, and then slowly warming up your voice and things like that. So probably doesn't sound that romantic, but I get in this sort of tunnel vision state. It's almost like I'm on another planet a little bit, and I can't take in any new information. So I just become a zombie. Yeah. Do you like that?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. If you could time travel to see one concert in history, whose show would you choose?
It would have to be something like a David Bowie show for sure, like Ziggy Stardust in Europe perhaps, or basically anything by David Bowie, because I never got to see him play, and I'm like always kicking myself.
Yeah. Great choice. What is the most rock star thing you've ever done?
Oh, definitely. I don't know if are you laughing at this because I'm not really like rock and roll?
You're so wholesome. That's why.
I mean, beneath the wholesome is a fiery spirit. I have to.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
So I've definitely walked out and slammed some doors. Is that rock and roll enough for you?
Yeah.
I've also had one moment where I had to tell somebody to stop. Aggressively had to tell someone to stop singing.
Okay.
At the front of the audience, because it was so loud. Everybody around them was getting really disturbed. Right. It was probably a little bit confronting.
You're listening to the Mixtape.
The Mixtape is brought to you in association with Giglist. Giglist is your one-stop shop for all your live events. If you're looking to get out and experience some live music, you can filter by artist, venue, suburb or date. If you are an artist, it will take you less than a minute to list your gig for free on the website. The Mixtape brought to you in association with Giglist. Gigs in a list. All right, mixtape track choices then. Okay, so track one of your mixtape is an attention grabber. Sarah, what track would you use for your attention grabbing track?
Yes, I've chosen Crazy by Niles Barkley. I just think it's like an incredible vocal tape. The production, I think it's a flawless song. I'm just going to put that out there. Only thing that I would say is it could have been a bit longer. That chorus could have really been milked, but I'm glad that they didn't do that for some reason. Excellent production, outrageously good vocals. That's enough to.
Now, the reason I was glad to see that song was, and this is really tenuous, right? But I'm going to go with it. I saw that you toured with Ray LaMontagne in the past.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's done an amazing cover version of that track. And I was trying to find a way of shoehorning in the question about Ray, because I've seen him live a few times. I think he's an amazing artist, but he's a bit of an enigma to me.
Oh, yeah.
What is he like?
He's exactly... See, at the time when I toured with him, it was right at the beginning of his career and his record kind of really blew up and his family life blew up at the same time. I think he had a marriage or like huge life blow up kind of thing. But he was exactly off stage as he was on stage, like hard on the sleeve, telling me his whole life story. I like people like that. So I didn't have troubles with it. Neurotic. He comes across a little bit like that on stage. He would tell very long stories, reveal things about his own life that were incredibly personal. And so he was like that off stage. But he was incredibly kind to me. Every night he would go out and introduce me before I played. And probably some of the best crowds I've ever played to, particularly as a solo. It was duo, but as a support actor. You don't get those kind of audiences always, but like seated crowds, real intense music lovers, and he would introduce me every night. So I was like in heaven. We toured on his bus. So got to know him. I've never seen him since, but but I really bonded with him in that moment. I get the feeling that's his sort of vibe in terms of it's all in, and then not that he was deliberately elusive from there, but it's just like I was in the eye of the storm.
Track two, what is a song you sing when you're on your own in the car or the shower?
I listen to a lot of, we've only really got like radio and a CD player in our car. So I do a lot of singing in the car because I've only actually recently learned to drive when I was 40. Like I only got my full license this year. And so I love singing in the car now because I've always wanted to be alone in the car. So I listen to a lot of like Smooth FM kind of stations in the car. And so Simply Red, Holding Back the Years is always, it's always on those kind of stations. And the way that it builds and builds, I love that bit.
That's a great album. That Picture Book album, I think, is an absolute classic. I think for me, he lost it a bit further down the line. But that album and the second album, I think, are really, really good. Like that Holding Back Years, Money's Too Tight to Mention. They're absolute classic tracks. For sure. Okay, track three. What is your favourite cover version?
I don't know if it's my favourite cover version, but I do think that Cat Power does an awesome version of Stay, a Rihanna song. Just perfect and just really stripped back and beautiful.
I was introduced to her by the TV show in the UK Later with Jules Holland. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yes.
Amazing. She did, I think it was the greatest, she did that show. I couldn't stop looking at her. I couldn't stop watching her. Do you know what I mean? She was just so engaging, like to see perform. Yeah, brilliant. I haven't actually heard that, but I know she does a lot of covers. Was that from an album of covers? Because I know she did put out an album of covers.
I don't know actually if it was an album of covers, but it was only a few years ago. Don't know. I probably should know that, but no, I've just heard that a few times and loved it. It's just a perfect. When somebody just picks the sort of perfect cover for them, and they just managed to interpret it and it completely in their own style. Like it sounds like a song.
30 Seconds to Mars do a really good one of that as well, just by the way. Track 4, Sarah, what is a song you would have liked your 18-year-old self to hear?
Yeah, a song called I Put a Spell on You, which I think a lot of people know other versions of this song, but there's one by Screamin' Jay Hawkins, which is, I believe, is like the original version. It's really out there, very weird. And I got introduced to it by Bjorn Uteling, who produced my third record, As Day Follows Night. Making that record generally changed my life because we made everything really live and it just felt very effortless to make that album. And he played me that version of the song and it just really blew my mind. It's very creative, really like intense performance. And I think that it could have been good to hear that at 18, I was starting to get into music I went from my sort of Mariah Carey phase to getting into Sonic Youth and The Cure and Björk and PJ Harvey and stuff. And I think that to just hear something like that was so old that it's just a timeless classic. Like the recording has not aged. Like it sounds amazing. Yeah. And I think it would have really blown my mind.
The word you used there to hit the nail on the head was intense. I think that exactly sums up that performance, like the way he sings that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, superb. Yeah. Great choice. Okay, track 5, Sarah. What is a song you would put on your mixtape to let the listener know you were romantically interested in them?
Look, I think you really can't look any further than Sade for a romantic song. So No Ordinary Love to me, but I want to stress that it has to be the extended version, which goes on and on. It's amazing just because you're just sitting in that. You just sit in this beautiful bed for however many, I don't know how many minutes it goes for, but and that voice, like, come on, it's sexual. It's
no, absolutely. I think she's one of those artists. There's not many around like it, but she probably hasn't done anything for 15 or 20 years or more. If she announced a tour, she'd sell out arenas, I reckon. Do you know what I mean? Totally. Like straight up, and with nothing like over the last 20 years. An amazing artist. But I think she's just done and dusted now. I think she's just retired and family life and living the dream. Yeah, I don't think she's done anything for a long time. Yeah.
I keep wanting to hear Sade. I've never seen her live, but she did come to Australia maybe, I don't know how long ago it was now. I feel like maybe 5 or 10 years ago. And I missed it. And I was like, again.
I know. I'll tell you when that happens. All right, just to round out your mixtape, Sarah, finally, what is a deep cut or album track B-side you feel is underappreciated?
Yeah, from the Frank Ocean record, Blonde, which I think even in itself maybe as a record is a bit underrated, but there's a song called Siegfried from that record that like the last 6 months, I cannot stop listening to that song. It's just like an album track. There's just something, like I cry when I listen to it. Like I'm just like, there is just something harnessed in that song that I can't get over. It's part spoken word and then sung, and it's so experimental. It's got these strings that come in. It makes no sense in a way. But the story of it and the main lyrics is impactful, so emotionally impacting that it's just, just like I'm just obsessed with that song.
Sarah, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. I'm so sorry we've gone over by a few of our allocated minutes. The double feature tour coming to the Astor Theatre on September the 19th. It is sarahblasko.com for tickets and info, and you can also pre-order the first 2 albums on vinyl. I think they're signed as well, if I remember correctly.
There's like a signed insert situation.
Yeah. Fantastic. I got a signed album off Bandcamp the other day, and the artist had signed it on the cellophane outside the record. I was like,
that is heartbreaking.
What are you doing?
It's like a rookie move right there.
I know. Thanks so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time. Safe travels out west, and we'll see you very soon, mate.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mixtape podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go to the top of the page and rate it 5 stars, or give us a like or follow on social media at the Mixtape podcast and radio show. Don't forget, there's over 100 archive episodes just waiting to be discovered. And all you need to do is visit themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.